Nestle has issued a global recall of some baby formula products over concerns they contain a toxin which could cause food poisoning. The food and drink giant says specific batches of its SMA instant formula and follow-on formula were not safe to feed to babies. The batches were sold across the world, and Nestle says they potentially contain cereulide, which causes nausea and vomiting when consumed. Let's speak more about this with Conny, Sethaelo, who's Nestle's Director for Corporate Communications and Public Affairs in the Eastern and Southern Africa region. Conny, thanks very much indeed for your time. Welcome to the SABC. It's not the first time that Nestle issues an alert for a recall, albeit this time around it seems much larger than what we've seen in the past. How many units, roughly speaking, have been affected?
For us, fortunately, good morning, first of all, and thanks for having me. So currently for us as South Africa,
I'm not able to hear you for some reason. I'm not sure if that's on our side or if you're able to check. All right, my apologies. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Please go ahead, Conny.
Okay, I was just saying good morning, Ayanda, and thank you for having me. I hope you can hear me now.
Loud and clear. Thank you very much.
Okay, perfect. So I was just saying, for us as South Africa, the quantities are quite limited because most of them were still within our control. So we have one specific batch that was imported from one of the affected factories or affected countries. However, we are well in control of that, and we have also notified the relevant authorities to help us make sure that we retrieve everything that is out there that we don't have, which is quite limited and minimal.
Is there any telling how long the affected units have been on the shelves?
The products were manufactured on the 15th of June this year, so it could have been for about 6 months on the shelf until now.
All right, so there's a great chance that some of them have been consumed. It's a good opportunity, I suppose, for us to speak about this toxin that was found. What are you able to tell us about it and the potential effects it could have on babies who do consume the product?
Okay, so the toxin that was detected is called cereulide, as you said, which is actually a specific strain of bacteria, of microorganism, which is called Bacilli ceres. So the testing that we identified the presence of cereulide, which is a heat-stable toxin. And now it's produced it's used as an oil that is used within infant formula manufacturing. So the potential issue was initially detected during our Nestle routine global quality verification processes, which actually triggered further targeted testing of what we call arachidonic acid oil ingredient, and also some of the oil mixes that we use for infant formula products. So once the supplier's batch was found to be non-compliant, Nestle then launched a full investigation and notified regulators in affected markets, which also includes South Africa.
Right. And again, what should parents who are concerned look out for in case their own babies have consumed the product with this toxin?
So as you said initially, that some of the symptoms include vomiting and diarrhea, which fortunately right now no sickness or illness has been reported or confirmed both globally and in South Africa. So parents can rest assured. I understand that this could cause concern, but can rest assured that nothing has been reported so far, which is why we precautionary measure to actually withdraw everything that is still out in the trade.
Ideally, of course, something like this should be picked up before it's exposed to consumers, and I have no doubt that Nestle has its own controls in place. The question becomes, have you been able to identify at which step of that process or how these controls may have faltered in order to prevent a repeat of something like this taking place?
So we're currently working with our leading supplier for arachidonic acid oil so that we get to the root cause of this. So it's something that came as part of the ingredients that were supplied to Nestle. So with our routine testing, this was then picked up, which is then what triggered the targeted testing of this particular toxin.
All right. I'm not sure if I understand that fully. So at this stage, you're not really able to kind of give us a sense of at which stage, this toxin may have fallen through the cracks, for lack of a better term.
Not specifically, Ayanda, because as I said, this was initiated by just random regular lab testing that we do on our oils and every corresponding oil mixes that is applied to us for infant nutrition products. So these were just specifically designed to identify cereulide, right? So as soon as we realized that there were levels, detectable levels of cereulide in ARI oil, we consider that non-compliant because we have strict quality and safety specifications as Nestle. So that's when all the production was ceased, and then we took a decision to do this precautionary product withdrawal.
All right. So as things stand, would it be fair to say that because we're not really able to kind of give us a sense of what the root cause might have been, this may very well happen again?
I will not say that, Ayanda, because obviously this triggered a heightened sense of monitoring within the ingredients and also working closely with our different suppliers, and specifically this one. So there definitely will be ongoing monitoring procedures to check if any other batches might be affected. So right now, we have implemented enhanced global and local monitoring, which includes ongoing testing of all the ARA oil and oil mixes applied into production, verification of historical batches, additional supplier oversight and preventative controls, and also close coordination with the different regulators. So we continue to test finished products proactively, and at this stage, the issue is just limited to a specific batch already withdrawn within the local market.
All right. I understand the recall, as you've mentioned multiple times, is a precautionary measure, but as I'm sure you can imagine, there might be a level of, shall we call it, distrust in the public at the moment. What is Nestle doing to try, beyond just, having a recall, to rebuild that trust with consumers?
So we are engaging with our different healthcare professionals, which are the ones that actually need to be engaging with mothers. And as I said, they understand the concern. It's valid, but we will continue to reassure them through our healthcare professional system or network, and also through the different regulators. We also have our consumer services line open for anyone who could have concerns of a child that might have consumed the product, just so they can reassure them and put them at ease.
All right. Conny, Sethaelo, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. Appreciate the time. We'll certainly watch the story very closely as it unfolds. Conny Sethaelo is the Nestle Director for Corporate Communications and Public Affairs in the East and Southern Africa region. Once again, thanks very much indeed.